Welcome to Highway Herald, your roadmap to the latest in auto. For a long time, China has been leading the charge in the electrification race. However, it seems that this economic powerhouse is starting to lose steam. The sales of electric vehicles are decelerating, mirroring a global trend where EV manufacturers are grappling not just with boosting sales, but also with making EVs profitable. There are several reasons for this downturn, so stick with us as we delve into why we believe a major crash in the Chinese EV market is imminent. Reason number 5. The pace of EV market expansion decelerates. In recent years, China's EV market has seen remarkable growth, with the number of plug-in electric cars, including both battery electric and plug-in hybrids, reaching 8 million units in 2023 alone. Plug-in electric cars currently hold a market share of around 37%. However, a closer look reveals a significant slowdown in growth. In 2020, plug-in electric vehicles held a 6.3% share. This figure increased to 15% in 2021 and then to 30% in 2022, indicating a clear loss of momentum. This percentage includes both EVs and plug-in hybrids. If we focus solely on EVs, they made up about 25% of the market in 2023, with a year-over-year growth of just 31%. It seems that last year was dominated by plug-in hybrids, as these more traditional models saw an 80% increase in sales and accounted for 12% of the market. In essence, Chinese consumers, like their American counterparts, are beginning to favor plug-in hybrids, likely due to their lower cost and the absence of range and charging anxiety. Also, it's important to remember the financial limitations of the Chinese domestic population, which is significantly lower than that of North America and Europe. As the Chinese economy slows down, Chinese citizens are choosing to invest in real estate rather than expensive electric cars. Furthermore, it seems that the phase of early adopters is over, and the middle class is not ready to embrace new modes of transportation. Reason number 4. Dealerships going out of business. Last year, China overtook Japan to become the world's largest car exporting nation. While Chinese car manufacturers are making waves globally with their competitive pricing, the domestic market is not faring as well. The era of massive growth, not just for EVs, is in the past. The peak was in 2017, with 24 million cars sold. Today, the numbers are falling, with last year ending with a total of 21.7 million cars sold. Dealerships are bearing the brunt of this downturn, as the oversupply of electrified cars has made it exceedingly difficult to sell vehicles. Consequently, thousands of dealerships have already filed for bankruptcy. This includes not just small players, but also major players. A prime example is the Guangdong Yonggao Investment Group, which had 80 outlets across the southern province of Guangdong. This dealership network sold several brands, including global giants like Honda and Volvo, as well as the Chinese brand GAC Aion. Suddenly, the dealership announced bankruptcy and suspended all orders, leaving thousands of customers in limbo, unsure if they will receive their promised vehicle or get their money back. Insiders report that this downfall has been brewing for some time, with complaints about unpaid wages circulating since last April. Today, it seems that the company's employees have been owed wages for months and are unlikely to receive any compensation. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now let's explore reason number 3, the emergence of EV graveyards in China. EV graveyards, a phenomenon currently unique to China, are a stark reminder of the need to respect the balance of supply and demand. Picture this: fields filled with hundreds, even thousands of abandoned EVs, a sight now common in China's larger cities. Years ago, China went all in on electric cars, a strategic move to gain a foothold in the global automotive industry. This led to a boom in Chinese EV startups, with over 500 emerging by 2017. However, this rapid growth was unsustainable. Despite the large market, the idea of hundreds of EV makers achieving solid sales figures was unrealistic. To qualify for government financial support, these startups had to sell a certain number of vehicles. This led to a scheme where startups sold their EVs to car-sharing companies, even though they were rarely used. Most of these EVs lacked in range and performance, and inevitably ended up in EV graveyards. This was how small EV companies secured financial support. However, unable to sell their EVs on the regular market, most ended up in bankruptcy. From over 500 EV startups in 2017, the number dwindled to 91 in 2023, and it's expected to continue to fall for several reasons we'll discuss next. Reason number 2, the imminent bankruptcy of most EV makers. As we've just discussed, Chinese EV startups are facing numerous challenges. Despite being able to sell a decent number of vehicles, they still haven't figured out how to make a profit from them. Accustomed to substantial government support, these wealthy startups have yet to crack the EV economy. As a result, only a handful of companies are actually making a profit. The rest are losing money, and a lot of it. In the past few months alone, we've seen several cases of EV startups going bankrupt. This includes some big names too, companies that seemed extremely promising just a few years ago. Some of the most notable examples are companies like Evergrande New Energy Auto, which was part of a much larger conglomerate with virtually unlimited resources. Despite its advantageous position, it never figured out how to make a profit. Moreover, it never managed to sell its models in relatively decent numbers. As a result, the latest calculations suggest that this company lost $17 million on each vehicle it sold. This isn't an isolated case. Many other companies have gone out of business, including Letton, Volkswagen, and Neutron. Even companies like NIO are struggling. The Shanghai-based company recorded a massive $2.9 billion loss in 2023, despite impressive sales figures in the fourth quarter. During these 3 months, the company managed to sell over 50,000 vehicles. But the latest estimates suggest that sales in the first quarter of this year will be significantly slower, with expected sales figures of around 30,000. Reason number 1. The inevitable doom of most EV makers. With the EV market slowing down, it's clear that most EV companies will eventually go bankrupt. As mentioned earlier, the number has significantly decreased from 500 a few years ago. Today, it's estimated that around 90 companies are still in business, but if our insiders are to be believed, at least 1/3 of them don't produce more than 500 vehicles quarterly. Their days are numbered, but they're not the only ones. If we look at the current market share, it turns out that the top 10 brands account for more than 80% of the plug-in market. Moreover, BYD holds 33.8% of the market. Tesla accounts for 7.5% of the plug-in segment, while other notable players are companies like GAC Aion, SAIC GM Wuling, Li Auto, Changan and Geely, each accounting for 6% or less. Add to this the fact that BYD is probably the only Chinese EV maker that has made EVs profitable, as well as the ongoing price war initiated by the same company, and it becomes clear that the majority of the remaining companies will soon disappear. Eventually, the number of Chinese EV companies will dwindle to just a few, including Chinese legacy car makers such as Geely and MG, which can survive this price war only because of their strong position in foreign markets. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Highway Herald to stay updated on the latest vehicle updates and upcoming videos. See you next time.